Welcome back to Indigo Inc. Weekly Digest for the week ending July 27th, 2025. And we're going to go over CVE 2025-53770. Yay, okay. So this one was really interesting to me. I kept seeing it pop up everywhere, and having been in the government sector for a long time, this one kind of hit home with like how bad it could be. Anyways, so this is a critical zero-day vulnerability, or it was, in Microsoft SharePoint server. It was and still is being actively exploited in the wild. It enables unauthenticated remote code execution, RCE, through insecure deserialization, and is linked to a chain exploit known as toolshelf. Attackers use it to deploy stealthy ASPX web shells, extract cryptographic machine keys, and gain persistence. Unauthenticated access and even survives reboots. Persistence. Anyways, early reporting from iSecurity and others confirmed widespread impact across sectors, including government and enterprise networks. Exploitation has led to credential theft, lateral movement, and ransomware deployment. Emergency patches are available, but full remediation requires key rotation, AMSI enforcement, and internal monitoring for signs of compromise. Let's get into why I picked this. Why did I pick this? I picked this article because SharePoint is used heavily across the government sector, federal and state and local. It's Microsoft, right? I think that's not a surprise. Anyways, so they really need to be on point here. I also know from having worked there that oftentimes these contracts are staffed and funded on lowest bidder and then staffed accordingly. And so you're not typically getting your best here. The staff are overworked, they are underpaid, and oftentimes underskilled. And then you have the whole entire problem of people hiring their friends onto contracts who have no experience at all. It's really rare that you get a really seasoned person working on a contract, because typically those seasoned people can see their value outside of the government. Like, they're getting paid better, they're getting treated better, and they're not as overworked outside the government. So it's pretty rare when you have a very loyal and seasoned, talented crew. So with that being said, it's really important that our government friends, our government contractors are paying attention to this and taking this seriously and having their hunt teams come up with a playbook, following the playbook, and, seeing if they were impacted by this and going back, because this was patched, but then new things came up and, new exploits came up. So anyways, let's move on. CVE category is CVE exploitation. Verticals impacted: government, multinational corporations, banks and financial technologies, universities and education institutions, energy sectors, and health organizations. This is tactical information, operational information, and strategic information. Noted TTPs. This is quite long because I have like a million sources at the bottom here. So yeah, I put together this blurb. This isn't an article per se, it's more than one article. So we have a lot of TTPs because more than, one person was reporting on it. Exploitation of SharePoint's tool pane, stealth web shell deployment, machine key theft, unauthenticated persistent accesses, encoded PowerShell for recon, credential theft, and lateral movement, ransomware deployment, bypassing incomplete patches. Okay, so there's a lot more on the paid subscribers, but And this was the free one for this week. I thank you for watching and or listening, however you took this content in, and I will be back next week. Thank you.